Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
My guest today is the Oracle of Austin, all the way from Austin. I'm currently in Bangkok, and he is a high-energy man, and we're going to just dig in. Ari Rastegar, who is the Oracle of Austin. Ari, thank you for coming to the show. I mean, you're a man of choice, because we're going to talk about media, a lot of topics, because you've got it all. You've got a lot of arrows in your quiver.
I've been called much worse. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you're an attorney, you're a real estate magnate, I would say, or mogul. Let's go right from the magnate to the mogul in Austin. You're the largest property owner in Austin, Texas, and you've done so well, and you're not even 50, not even close to it. You know, the gray hair aged you a little bit, but I'm sure if you put some Clairol in there, it would put you in your 30s again. We had some nice chit chat before we began this recording, but I have to ask, how did you earn this distinction of the Oracle of Austin?
Well, it's a great. First of all, Mitch, I love talking with you before.
Yeah.
You're a cool guy, and
Thank you.
That means a lot to me.
A lot of air conditioning.
Yeah, it helps. Same here with some of the stuff. Mark Twain said, "Man is the only animal that blushes or needs to." So.
Okay.
So Forbes, a writer in Forbes, I got to know through a friend in Dallas when I was starting my business,
Mm-hmm.
and very just kind of organic. I knew her. She's kind of a lobbyist / knows everybody in Dallas, socialite, works with a lot of people. It's become a dear friend of mine. This was, I don't know, 6 years ago or so, 7 years ago. I was working on a big zoning case there was a building in Dallas that 20 years ago was a nightclub that kicked me out for having dirty shoes. Okay, for having these white Air Force Ones 20 years ago. 15 years later, I went back and bought the building. And I still have the shoes. By the way, I still have the shoes.
I love that.
White
Revenge
Air Force Ones
is great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's especially when it happens serendipitously, you know.
Uh-huh.
And so I bought the building, and it used to be this nightclub, and it didn't allow the height to build a super tall luxury apartment building. So I went through this comprehensive zoning case. We were able to change the zoning to build 400 feet on this site and now directly across the street. And we didn't know this before, the New York Stock Exchange, Texas, is going across the street. Goldman Sachs' second largest office in the world is going up across the street.
Wow.
And then, in Austin around that time, I had bought this 50 acres. And about 3 weeks later, the Gigafactory for Tesla announced it was going effectively across the street. And right around this time, it appeared that we had bought a bunch of stuff, and some things had, for lack of a better word, mystically or prophetically had happened. And the truth of that, it became a cheeky conversation with this reporter, this journalist, brilliant journalist, very famous in Texas. Her name is Candy Evans. She had a column called Candy's Dirt in Dallas for 30 years. And she writes for Forbes and writes from other stuff. And it ended up being just kind of a meeting. And then over time, we got to talk more. And kind of like you and I, immediately we just started just chatting about everything, went to dinner, talking. And then it turned into, we should talk again. And we should talk again. She started to looking at the deals. And around that time, Austin had just kind of seemingly overnight went gangbusters. I mean, Tesla moved their global headquarters. Oracle moved their global headquarters. This little company you might have heard of called Dell, happens to still be here in Austin. And Austin, I was born here. It's like a sleepy hippie town. Okay. It's not, the joke is Austin's not in Texas, in the sense where, there's lakes and trees and towns, and, Dallas is like this metropolis, flat metropolis. Houston is, forget about it. And Austin is like this oasis. And so we started buying all this stuff. And it appeared during that time, I assume, or what she tells me, is that we had some foresight to buy a ton of stuff before, like almost right before these major announcements. I mean, like the stock exchange, Goldman, the Gigafactory. And we effectively started to look a lot smarter than we were, if that makes sense. And, I guess a broke clock is right twice a day too. So, so that confluence of effectively, of getting some things right on land purchases. And we ended up around that time buying 318 acres just south of Austin in a town called Kyle, Texas. So it's 20 miles south of Austin, 60 miles north of San Antonio. So as you can imagine, you don't have to be a real estate genius to know, or I would think, in between these huge cities. And in 2009, Kyle didn't even have a stoplight.
Oh my gosh.
And a town of 5,000 people now has 55,000 people 17 years later. And you
bought up this town.
I did. And so all of these things happened in very quick procession. And in talking to her, I think she almost said it jokingly. And, she's like, the Oracle of Omaha is Warren Buffett. She's like, you're like the Oracle of Austin. And I'm like, okay. Like, I was like, I'm a regular dude. I am not psychic. Right. I am not, I'm just a regular guy who's delivering pizzas and flipping burgers through community college, like a few years, it seems like a few years ago. And in that moment, it became kind of a joke. And I was shocked when it published in Forbes. And I saw it. I'm like, did you? She's like, I don't know. It sounded good. And it was like, you bought all this shit. And you're like, how the hell did you, Ari, how did you really do this? I'm like, I don't fucking know. It's like the Michael Jordan. I don't fucking know. Like, we bought it, and our investors are the, firefighter associations, insurance companies, hundreds of accredited investors that, knock on wood, have done very, very well. And so it's become something cute and, whatever, but it was a very interesting time that, I hate to say it, but we got very lucky. And yes, was there some math in it? Was there some analysis? But I don't care how good you are at math and analysis, luck and grace play a role and stuff too. I have a lot of construction workers and people that work very hard, and the Gigafactory doesn't move across the street. So I feel very blessed, and not being corny, but legitimately, like, it was this overwhelming amount of things that happened that were seemingly so incredible that we didn't necessarily plan for, but it appeared, as I said, to make us look a fuckload smarter than we really were.
Now, I got to ask, Ari, where did you get, I believe luck is, the definition of luck is opportunity plus action.
Sure.
You might have been in the right place, but you had the foresight, and you were able to look forward and think, okay, this is strategically located between two big cities, Austin and San Antonio. There's Kyle, Texas, which you were involved in directly to build up. That's not luck, that's opportunity, and you took decisive action.
I appreciate that.
Yes. Where did you learn your work ethic? Because I don't think you're a lazy person. And I know that you're the son of an immigrant.
I'm not.
And your father probably had some influence. And to talk about that dynamic.
Well, I'm an Iranian American. You grew up in Beverly Hills, in Tehrangeles. So you're good, bad, or indifferent. Know the community. And to Iranians, if you're not a doctor or a lawyer, you're a loser.
Correct.
So I am an attorney, admittedly, or a recovering attorney, I should say.
Sure.
I'm still in my 10-step program. And attorneys are trained for things to go wrong. Entrepreneurs jump off the side of a cliff and build a plane on the way down. So it's almost like two people live in my head.
The dichotomy of that, isn't it?
It's profound. But as an investor, if you have someone, and everybody on their board or has the friend that's the naggy accountant that says everything's going to go wrong and the world's going to blow up and don't do anything, don't even leave your house, our water is poisoned, our air is poisoned, there's chemtrail, everything is horrific. And then you have this eternal optimist. Nah, fuck it, it'll be all right. But as an investor, in all seriousness, you have to focus on how you could lose money. like
Yes.
focusing on what are all the things, because amateurs focus on how much money they're going to make. And I've been there, you know, and I also wrote a book called The Gift of Failure of all those businesses that blew up, by the way, and what I learned from them. But as an institutional investor, when you manage other people's money, which is no joke, you have to think of how the fuck you could lose money. Like, what are
that's the attorney in you too. You have to look at those pitfalls.
And you look at those things. And so I'm very grateful to have that structure. What is the downside? What are all the things could get wrong? How are we going to get sued? Because not if, when, what is that going to mean?
Right.
And then as an optimist and a community builder, I got to look of how can we shape this city and where is the puck going and how do we change the zoning? How do we change the entitlements? And there's a level of hope and a level of optimism. And if you do that together, finance calls it risk-adjusted returns, managing the downside, capping the upside, call it a hedge fund, whatever term you want to use.
Mitigation.
So haphazardly, you know, or almost accidentally, I fell into risk-adjusted returns just by nature of my own psychology and my education, because there was a boldness in me. There was an insatiable hunger, you know, to go do something. And yes, I am a hard worker, and everything in nature works hard. You know, the birds, the bees, and the trees work hard. And I am a reader.
Does Ari.
So does Ari, and Ari, you know, has a mild form of, you know, madness that goes into the level of reading and curiosity. I'm a very curious person. And at this point in my life, the only thing I know is that I'm going to be wrong. And knowing that I'm going to be wrong, you know, I continuously put myself in a situation to stay curious and learn and unlearn and relearn. And in that process of this insatiable appetite, and you wonder why the second generation, you know, doesn't have the drive or the ambition, is because they're not hungry, literally not hungry. Their stomachs have been full. So you yell at them and say, why aren't you getting off your ass? Well, they're not hungry. I was fucking hungry. And now I have a tapeworm in my stomach. So no matter what I eat, you know, something is just eating it in real time. So I don't know what to do.
Ari, I got to jump in before we get down that, because we could talk all day. I'm sure that you said something profoundly mature as a business person and as an attorney. It's not if, but when you get sued, because you have to prepare. The old adage is prepare or plan for the worst, or no, hope for the best, plan for the worst. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. And that's about litigation. And that's a hard pill to swallow for somebody that's all pink rainbows or rainbows and pink elephants.
It's not candy canes and lollipops. Yeah. And like I said, I was a litigator. My father went to law school later on in life. And, you know, as a student, you know, a lifelong student of life, of philosophy, of history, of great businesses, you know, there's 60 autobiographies or biographies, you know, that are sitting on my desk over there of all the people you would think about, world leaders, historians, CEOs. And in seeing all their lives, they all got sued, or they all almost went bankrupt, and as a lawyer, I already see the world through this vantage point of litigation, of contracts, and of, you know, and so once that happened, and anytime you do anything of merit, there is going to be conflict, inherent conflict, whether you're breaking the norm, you're a contrarian investor, getting married is a contract, getting divorced is nullifying a contract. I mean, sure. I'm being cheeky, but it's really the truth. As a real estate person, you have so many things: leases, property sale agreements, roofing, someone dies in a fucking pool, an investor gets pissed, a bank gets restructuring. So if you're doing something and you're shaking things up or building something, things are going to happen, feelings are going to get hurt, contracts are going to be fucked up. And once you are prepared, as you said, for that preparedness, you know, the old thing they say about lawyers, it's like they're like pigs, is that, you know, you roll around with the pig in the mud, you know, at one point you realize the pig likes the mud, you know. Well, and so
you've got to be in that position. It's a mature perspective. It's a mature lens of going through battle scars. I mean, you earn captain status, colonel status, general status.
Do you see this gray hair?
Exactly.
You see this gray hair?
Those are battle gray hair. Those are battle scars.
I earned this gray hair. I earned all this gray hair.
You certainly did, and it's so true, because it isn't lollipops and pink, you know, and rainbows and all this.
And life isn't fair, Mitch.
No, it's not. We both have been divorced.
Life is not fair. It never was. It never will be. Life is, and by the way, that is reality.
Mary
That's
Poppins
reality.
doesn't exist, Ari?
Well, I thought like to, well, Dick Van Dyke does at the very least, and he's 100 years old, still kicking, and his wife I think is 50 years younger than him. By the way, but in all fairness, the lawyer in me I think has given me a healthy dose. I don't want to say cynicism because I'm not a cynic. I do believe in people, and I do believe that the future is brighter than the present and the past. I do believe that. And I do believe that technology and AI and all this is going to do more good than harm. So I am, as an entrepreneur, an inherent optimist, but it is just tempered with a wild sense of realism, of hyper realism, of this is what it is. You climb up the flagpole, your asshole's exposed, someone's going to come after you. No one did anything without getting shot at. Like, look at any, this is just the truth, you know? And so once you know that's going to happen, the charge is a little bit depleted. Not to mean I still get hurt when I get stabbed and shot and bruised, but I'm not surprised.
There you go. Let's talk about that. You can't go in with, I mean, this is the big takeaway, because you're an attorney and you understand this, but you've also earned the battle scars. Like you said, you mentioned your gray hair through the experience of all the real estate that you own and were insightful. Somebody gets dissatisfied.
Yeah,
you made somebody $1 million and they expected $2 million.
It doesn't matter. Exactly right. You nailed it. And in the investment business, not every deal makes money. I'm not a fucking oracle. I'm not a psychic.
You don't have a crystal ball?
I don't have a fucking crystal ball. I have mathematics. I have some intuition. I have some stones, if you know what I mean, to go out and do whatever. But in a portfolio, okay, if diversification, you know, you hear these terms and whatever. Do you think every stock Warren Buffett bought went up?
No.
Oh, and same thing, you buy these properties, some go up, some go down, and then you get kicked in the teeth with a global pandemic, and then fucking interest rates fly through the roof and these unexpected things happen. But how you manage that circumstance psychologically and from a business operation standpoint is the difference between being a fucking professional and being, you know, a deal maker or a playboy or or an amateur. And I'd like to believe that at this point in my life, I'd like to, if I give my one of my old, friends, partners used to say, if you ever say anything good about yourself, you have to say, if I do say so myself. So if there's anything that I do well, if I do say so myself, is I'd like to believe I'm a professional, and how I deal with these things. And that separates the pack big time when shit is hitting the fan. And that's why the best investors are the richest people that I know. And I'm close to a lot of billionaires, legitimate billionaires for the beat. All they look at during the pandemic and rates when all this stuff has been going wrong is looking at me saying, so, well, let's see what you're going to do with it. Once you've gone through a pandemic or a recession, then call me. And then I looked at the deal. I was like, well, we didn't make as much here. He's like, everybody else lost 50%. You were up 7. He goes, give this man $1 billion. And so I thought it was, I have to make these exorbitant returns. But in reality, the smartest money in the world was looking at, what did you do when the building was burning down? Like, what did you do when everything was going to hell?
How did you mitigate?
How did you mitigate? How did you become creative? What did you do how did you extend that loan? How did you go back out to the partnership and deliver what was bad news and then make lemonade? And that is what being an investment manager means. And that skill set is what I also think makes a beautiful life, is when you inevitably deal with tragedy and loss and suffering and health and whatever. What are you going to do about it? And I happen to believe someone that believes in that Emersonian self-reliance. Like, I'm going to put it on me. Not that I do it alone. Life is team sports. I am not Mother Teresa, but my work is my worship. Like, I'm here to contribute. I'm here to do something, whether I make another $5 billion or not, I'm eating the same fucking cheeseburger. Like, it's not like, there's only so many.
Not going to make a difference in your life.
You're going to buy 14 Ferraris. There's give me a break. So I have to do something that is in pursuit of something meaningful. pursuit of something contributory in some capacity, whether on behalf of my clients, behalf of the neighborhood, the city of Kyle. And in that, I have an insatiable appetite, but it comes from that desire to go do something for others. And again, not as a fucking charity, not as a humanitarian, but just simply wanting to do more. And that, is a pull, not a push. That is something that I believe was a gift that I cherish.
Well, I want to bring up something, and I'd love to get your comment. Two things you're supposed to not talk about are religion and politics. But given that we're both Americans, and this is the number one question I get asked living overseas, is what do you think about Donald Trump? What I want to ask, not that question, but specifically about grit and toughness. He's endured more peltings, beatings, slappings, kickings, whatever he's guilty of or not is not the
I'll talk.
So but I want to get your spin about how he managed toughness and pelting and how you.
I'm with you. So I appreciate that, and I think that's a. I'll tell you two pieces before I answer that question. There's an old country song in Texas, okay? And the premise of the song is the artist says, there's only three things that I don't talk about: politics, religion, and her. Okay. And so in fairness, these are the three topics that publicly I won't talk about usually, but in this instance, I'll humor it. Michael Jordan and Barack Obama, being from Chicago, we're good friends, okay? And Obama, again, forget about politics. Just the person loves basketball. It's very public that he likes basketball. He grew up in the Michael Jordan era. Clearly loves Michael Jordan. Jordan, Chicago, obvious. Sure. And Obama asked him, and I fucking love this story. If you haven't heard this, it's unbelievable. Obama asked him, on behalf of the Democratic Party, for Jordan to basically endorse him.
Sure.
To publicly say. And Jordan's answer was so brilliant that
he's a brilliant guy.
Think he is, for a variety of reasons. And by the way, there's a book called Relentless, written by Tim Grover, who is his personal trainer, who also trained Kobe Bryant, that I recommend to anybody to read on the subject of grit. Relentless, from good to great to unstoppable. And he trained Barkley, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and Dwayne Wade. Those were literally his only clients. So imagine, and he started with Jordan, and he wrote this book about and it's mind-bendingly incredible. So he asked him, and Jordan said no. And he was like, okay, well, do you mind if I ask why? And for whatever. He said, yeah, because Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yeah.
And so, yes. And so in my mind, when I think about the Donald Trump as an example, Donald Trump is a real estate guy, typically a marketer, or
right.
Forget about his politics. As a salesman, politician, the guy, and again, I actually know President Trump, so it's a little bit different, for me. I wouldn't say we're friends, but we've spent plenty of time in person, together over the years. But basically, what he has done as an individual, be 80 years old, to just simply enduring the days, these 18-hour days, as long as he has, the stuff that he did with television in terms of networks, the brand that he built in, casinos and real estate, and the amount of attacks, whether deserve it or not. That's another discussion of whether or not he did them. I don't know to the specifics of it. I don't care. But to endure the level of pain and suffering that he's enduring, whether self-inflicted or not, I'm not going to pontificate about any of that, is a level of toughness that we have not seen maybe in my adult lifetime. To be able to endure that and continue to effectively win at the highest level. Yes, half the people may hate him. So I think in the exercise of resilience and grit and the ability to sell a dream, make America great again. First of all, make America great was Ronald Reagan. Okay. Ronald Reagan, as we know from California, was the governor of California, was basically a movie star before. That, from a story brand standpoint, was an unbelievable pitch because it made the American people the hero. To make America great again, that tagline and that sales pitch might be up there with just do it or got milk. I mean, is it such a high level of achievement? So whether you like him or not, whether you agree with his politics or not, the motherfucker can sell.
The best salesman to ever walk planet Earth.
And is putting a master class, is putting on a clinic for sales. And as we know, not all products that sell are great. The Apple iPhone, which I'm on now, is technologically not superior to the Samsung, yet their marketing is better. And
Much
good,
better.
bad, or indifferent, whether you like him or not, the motherfucker can sell. Sell. And they keep buying in all different modalities, media, crypto, the fucking presidency, real estate, casino, nightclubs, you name it. So if there's anything else, if you hate the guy, if you are in business and anything else, or you are just a person studying some of those tactics, good, bad, or indifferent, I think somebody can learn something. But for me, I got clients that are Democrats. I got clients that are Republicans. I have clients that are Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, Zoroastrian. So for me, my language in that regard is building the business to build communities.
And you have to answer it. And I would tend to agree with your opinion. I mean, he's probably the toughest individual that I've ever met in my life. And I'm not referring to physically. I mean, he's not a Navy SEAL. He doesn't have that kind of training. But mentally, to be Teflon, we've talked about the Teflon Don that was around. Gambinos are.
It's insane. It's insane. And he's
been pelted, and he just sloughs it off.
Yeah, and I saw Elon talking the other day too, and the reporter or the interviewer, whatever, I forgot the forum, basically said, we need more Elon Musks, more people, we need more entrepreneurs, more people like you. And the look on his face, he did I don't know. I don't think people understand that the level of pain and suffering that I endure. And, and he's like, people running a business. He said, I equate it, to eating glass and like hoping you don't die or some like absurd, and so I think the glory. And by the way, 99% of businesses or 90% of businesses fail in the first year. 99 or something, and I'm flubbing the numbers, but bear with me. 90% fail in like the first year, 99% fail in the first 2, and 99 to infinity have failed by 10. So to be in business for 10 years and endure that type of thing, if you are not genuinely pulled by something greater than you will not fucking make it. It will not work. No amount of draw to just money, selfishness, egotism will take you to that place far enough. In my opinion, I'm in my 11th year under Rastegar Capital. We've been in 38 cities, 13 states, 7 different asset classes. I own 100% of my business. I never raise capital at the corporate level, although we will soon. And I can tell you that it has been the absolute most difficult. If I knew it was going to be this hard, Mitch, I don't know if I would do it. I thought it was going to be so much fucking easier than it was, but I was already pregnant that, I was going to just keep going, but it's
you
people
couldn't
severely
abort.
underestimate. No, it's my baby. I'm keeping it, and we built it. And now it's, my baby is in 5th grade, 11 years old, is basically in 5th grade. She's starting to grow up a little bit, and it's, I don't think
Have you
people
thought about
really
selling
appreciate
it?
the pain.
Have people made a play
No.
for you to buy
Yeah.
it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In real estate, because you own so many different properties, you sell the property, like you sell the individual property, not necessarily the corporate business. But now that we're here, the stuff that we're doing in data centers now, the stuff that we're doing with, new prop tech, the stuff we're doing with bill pay, the stuff we can do, because real estate is quite literally the foundation. Everything is real estate. You're sitting in real estate. I'm sitting in real estate. Cars are on everything. And so it's literally foundational. Rockets take off from a landing strip on real estate. Data, the cloud, is a server in a
It's
Rastegar
tangible.
building. It's
Truly
tangible. And once you own that scale, because most people don't hit this critical mass that we own until their 60s or 70s. I was crazy enough to do it at 40. We can now add on all these other ancillary complementary businesses, from banking to technology to bill pay to solar paneling to all these other things, to where all these other plugins are going to be the next 5 to 10 years of how this business evolves. And since we're here, this is my life. It's not my business. Like, this is who I am. Like, so selling, it's like saying, would you sell yourself? I was like, no, like, this is me. I couldn't sell it because it's me.
If she was really pretty, you would.
If she's really pretty, probably.
Okay.
A big.
Sorry, I saw the opening and I went for it.
I got it.
Smile shows you're guilty as charged.
You're good, Mitch. I don't care what they say about you. I like you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I paid you well to say that. So that's
it's
always appreciated. Oh my God.
I'm gonna come visit you. But yeah, this is
Ari. Let's see your book.
It.
Show me your book. Show me your stuff, bud. I want to see.
The Gift of Failure.
The gift. Oh, there is a gift. There's the Gift of Failure. The Gift of Failure. Ari Rastegar.
Yes, sir.
And that's
you can get
buy
it
that on Amazon.
You can buy it on Amazon. You can listen to the audio on Audible or Spotify. I did the recording, which was painstakingly annoying, by the way.
Gosh.
Like, ungodly annoying.
Why did you do that? Not hire somebody?
By the way, because I'm masochistic, Mitch. Because I enjoy enduring pain. Because I like to just beat myself, berate myself.
I knew that you were flogging yourself by doing.
Yeah,
this.
I was. And the worst was, I had an awful speech impediment growing up. So I had to go to 7 years of speech therapy just to learn how to talk, by the way. So,
and now you're an attorney and you can't shut you up.
No, I can't shut me up. I mean, there's one of my, exes. All my exes live in Texas, as the country song, George Strait song goes, used to say, Ari couldn't talk for most of his life, but when he learned how, he never shut the fuck up.
Oh, that's funny. In your sleep. That's great. Ari, you've been a great guest, man. So where do they get in touch? The book is the best.
Yeah, the book is the best way. Or you can Google my name. You can go to @Rastegar on Instagram. You can look us up on LinkedIn. You can go to rastegarcapital.com if you want to look at our love stuff. But good, bad, or indifferent, it's pretty public what we've done, and you can find us if you want to.
Yeah, I got one question. Didn't get to cover because we're close to about time, but it's so important. How important is exposure in media, and what has that done for the Rastegar brand?
I think it's absolutely mission critical, especially if you're starting, there's no nepotism and you're starting your own thing and you're in a new industry, because capital goes to attention. Follow the Googles of the world or the social media networks. They literally have an algorithm on your attention, and they're buying attention. That's effectively what they're doing. And if you can get attention and you have a meaningful product and you can get eyeballs, however you do that, with paid advertisement, with social media, with earned media, and you have trust and you have credibility and you have attention, you can sell your product. Jack Welch used to say that the sales department is not the whole company, but if the sales department isn't the whole company, you don't have a business. And so I believe that brand equity, being out there talking, educating, meeting journalists, being on the networks and being proud to showcase our product in so many different areas that eyeballs can see it. I don't think we'd have a business if we hadn't done it.
That's fantastic. I know you're everywhere, and I look forward to seeing this because you've been in every major publication. You're a Fox News regular guest contributor, which is huge in itself. You've been on CNBC, which is
I'll be on Sunday too. If you're watching Mike Emanuel on Fox, National Fox, in Washington, live from Washington, D.C. this Sunday. I don't know when this will come out, but if you're watching, his show is from like 12 to 2 Eastern time. He's a good friend of mine. I'll be on this Sunday. And again, I talk about finance. I talk about interest rates. I talk about housing, real estate, private equity. And it's been a great way to talk to a lot of people and get the message out there. Something that I'm genuinely passionate about. Like I said, this is my life. This is what I do. This is what I was born to do, and that's to put unity back in community. To build things, to see them through, and all the things that go along with it.
Well, just stop being so lazy, Ari. I mean, when are you going to get up and do something? I mean, come on, man, loser. Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny. High performing people always wonder why they're not doing enough. And low performing people always think that they've done plenty. So there's some weird, some things.
Why isn't your hair fully gray? You still got some dark coming through,
No, by the way, you don't know. I might be doing the magic trick with the lighting here. It's grayer than you think, by the way. I shaved my beard, or else there was plenty coming out of my chin.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you cleaned up and you're not lazy.
Well, they
anymore.
want to see, like, all the big institutional investors, all our big, pension funds. They need to see there's some gray hair on the operation.
Right.
Like, they need to see
shows the maturity that
you
need to
they need to see your valid test. Yeah, you've been pelted
and survived.
You've survived. Bruised, sore, but still standing.
Ari, fantastic. Loved it. We could go on for hours. This has been a great interview.
I know. And you have my number. Reach out to me. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to MitchCarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.